Alright, I'm back with part 2 of the Marrier's Antique Flea Market May 2022. Let's see what else we can find. Now, if I skip by anything you think I should have taken a closer look at, just let me know about it in the comments and I'll try to take a closer look next time. Some old shoe stretchers there. Does anybody still use shoe stretchers? I like these lamps back here. This one obviously is a stop sign, and the one on the left, I think it says Pepsi Cola, pretty sure. The Pepsi one, pretty interesting. Not sure why anybody would want a stop sign lamp, honestly. This bowl here with the faces on it reminds me of the Roman god Janus or the Marvel character, the Living Tribunal. This sculpture is made out of driftwood. It's pretty nice. It's I guess that's a heron, I believe. I'm not too up on bird species, but I think that's a heron. And I laid it back down just because it was really windy. And I didn't want it to fall down and break, and then, you know, you break it, you bought it. I like this old underwater camera here. It's kind of like the old school version of a GoPro. I love these blue antique medicine bottles here. Apparently they made them blue to block out sunlight from damaging the drugs, and also blue because people like the color blue. This looks like an old, I think, 35mm camera. Guessing maybe 1930s, 40s, 50s at the latest. And this is interesting here. This is the first time I've ever seen a gas pump nozzle at a flea market. That's an old one, though. Probably from the 70s at the latest. This big cabinet here, I'm pretty sure it holds probably a 78 RPM record player. Yet another thing I would love to have in my house, but I just don't have the room. There's a copy of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper album, probably one of the best albums of all time. If you don't believe me, go listen to it. Green's Esso Gas. I wonder if that was an actual gas station. This antique robot toy here caught my eye, except I don't think it's antique. It looks way too nice. Obviously the paint is perfect on it. Even the rubber wheels are perfect. So I'm fairly certain this is either highly restored or it's a new like reproduction model. It kind of looks like a 1950s Japanese robot, but despite what this guy says, I'm pretty sure it's not. Could be wrong though. If I am, let me know in the comments. It was very windy at this flea market, as you'll see in a second here. There was stuff blowing around all over the place, and a couple times I thought the tents were gonna fly off. But they didn't. Would have made a good video though if they did. Might have gone viral. Better luck next time, I guess. This here at the end is an antique heat lamp. I would be very cautious buying one of these, especially if you tried to use it, because there's a very good chance it's going to burn your house down. I like these old transistor radios here. Probably from the 60s, I'm guessing. And now that I look at them, they kind of look like the communicators from the original Star Trek series in the 1960s. Here's a nice old model train set. Would be a lot nicer, though, if they had cleaned it up before putting it out on display. It looks like it's covered in dirt and oil. It would probably clean up pretty nicely, though. Then I saw some old comic books hidden back here. Too bad they're not in bags, though, because, you know, when you don't bag them, every time you leave them out, they just get dirtier and more damaged and less desirable. And these Smurf toys here, I think they're probably from the early to mid-'80s. I think I had some of these when I was a kid. On the bottom of some of them, there were little stickers that said 10 cents, which is what people were probably charging for them at tag sales, you know, 10, 20 years ago. But I think he had these priced at $8 each, which is pretty high, but honestly, it just doesn't surprise me anymore. This guy here had a great selection of old comics and toys and memorabilia. I just wish he didn't have the comics stacked up like this, because it makes it very hard to flip through them. Personally, I'd be a lot more likely to buy these if they were in boxes and I could just flip through them easily. Now that comic there, Iron Fist number 14, is the first appearance of Sabretooth, and that comic is extremely valuable. I didn't see the price on it, but I'm sure it was more than I could afford. And he had some great toys back here. I think those are Rock'em Sock'em robots there up top. Some Lincoln Logs. And the biggest Saturn V moon rocket I've ever seen, other than the real one down in Florida. It's probably from the late 60s, early 70s, I would guess. There's some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hiding there. And an Incredible Hulk. And this Joker thing is actually a NASCAR toy, apparently. And no flea market would be complete without some Hess trucks. And apparently flip phones are now antiques. Oh, Star Warriors. I'm going to guess what happened here was back in the late 70s, some grandparents bought these for their grandkids, thinking they were Star Wars toys. The grandkids got them. They cried. They never opened them. And they ended up at a flea market 45 years later. And there's a nice Millennium Falcon toy on the top shelf. It's hard to tell if that's one from the late 70s, early 80s, or if it's from the mid-90s, because they did a line of Star Wars toys in the mid-90s, which were pretty much the same as the originals. Here's the backside of what looks to be a samurai's helmet. There's a nice old slide projector. I actually got a couple of those, so I don't really need another. And this blue luggage here is pretty amazing. If you bought this and used it today, you'd have no problem finding your luggage at the airport. This caught my eye here. This game, Secret Hitler. Never heard of it before. It looked like it was from the 50s or 60s based on the box, but it's actually got a copyright date of 2016, I think. I looked it up online. You can buy this at Amazon. It's interesting, I guess you'd say. This is interesting. It looks like a stereoscope, but I've never seen one on a stand like that before. This is creepy. This old Pound Puppy's Halloween costume, probably from the mid-'80s. Remember when Halloween costumes were just that thin mask like that and then basically a plastic smock that you would wear? Captain America toy here. This one looks pretty modern. I think it's based on the 2011 Marvel movie. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Wild Stallion set. Never seen that before. Captain Action, Dr. Evil. I don't know what those are. I don't recognize those names. Nice selection of Xbox games there.
Yeah.
These storage cabinets here are interesting. They look like they're probably from like a repair shop. I don't recognize those names, but I'm guessing they're tool companies, maybe? Ooh, Fat Albert jeans. Nice. Random alligator head. This thing here that looks like a giant light bulb, I think it's an old level of some sort. It's a nice old radio there. You can see how windy it is with that fan going there. If anybody's looking to do some Green Lantern cosplay, you can get your lantern here. Just paint it up and you're set to go. Here's some 8-track tapes. You don't see those too often. Here's some nice old antique postcards. Oh, so many boxes of junk. There's got to be something good in there somewhere, right? It's a nice old bike. Probably, what, 50s, 60s? Not sure. This desk looks nice here, but it's so narrow. I can't imagine anybody being able to comfortably fit their legs under there. I used to have a sled like that when I was a kid. Probably most of you did too, I'm guessing. I think they were called flexible flyers, if I remember correctly. He's got a bunch of sleds. I've never seen a collection of hose nozzles like this before. And this was weird. This is just somebody's photo album. All the family pictures in there. It's kind of sad. This actually looks like somebody just cleaned out their storage unit. Kind of reminds me of like an episode of Storage Wars or something like that. Another nice little bike there. And then they had some rocks and minerals hidden back here. Some fossils in there, looks like. Nothing too amazing though. Those are some big Pez dispensers. At first I thought this was like a salt shaker, but when I opened it up, it looks like it's a lighter. I've never seen a lighter that looks quite like that before. And these look like old doctor's bags, like you would see on a 1950s TV show. I don't think I've ever really seen one of those in person before. I got kind of excited when I saw this telephone here for only $10. I've been seeing them recently at flea markets for $30 or more, so $10 is a great price, but when I turned it over I found out why. It's completely rusted out. I guess it would be fine for display if you couldn't see the rust, but you can see it on those feet, and you'd really have to replace those. And I don't know where you would get parts to replace them. So better luck next time. Another nice old radio there. I have an antique radio similar to that. The only problem is every time you use it, you get an electric shock. So I'm a little bit wary of old electronics like that. And this here, I think this is an oxygen tank, this blimp-looking thing here. I've never seen one like that before. This Concorde model here caught my eye. That's pretty nice. I love that old toy airplane there. It looks like it's probably from the 1930s. It looks like it would fit right in under the Christmas tree in A Christmas Story. Here's something you don't see too often at a flea market. It's a Russian nesting doll. Looks like Gorbachev there. I wasn't able to open it, but I'm guessing it probably had a bunch of other Russian leaders in there. I'm always on the lookout for cheap Blu-rays, and this guy had a ton of them that were still sealed, and they were only $1 each, which you can't really get any better than that.
Buck a piece? All right.
I have no idea what this thing is here. It kind of looks like a steampunk version of a microphone and a turn signal. There's a nice collection of old license plates. Looks like they're mostly from the 1920s.
How you doing? Good.
Ah, the Red Baron's triplane. Does that make you think of Red Baron Pizza or Snoopy? I think this is probably a mail organizer or like a letter organizer. Probably from either a post office or an office of some sort, I would think. That Texaco truck is pretty eye-catching. I'll bet it's repainted though. It seems way too bright. This is an antique world band or shortwave radio. I wonder if it still works. More beautiful old radios here. I love that maroon one. The Chop-O-Matic. This looks like where they got the idea for the slap chop. Looks like the exact same thing.
Wow.
Always on the lookout for little frogs. My mom's a big fan of frogs for some reason, so always looking for gift ideas. Remember, if I missed anything good, let me know about it in the comments. Just kind of overwhelmed with all the stuff at this point. I'm sure there's some great stuff in here that I just completely missed. And there you have it. That's pretty much the end of the Marrier's Flea Market in Palmer, Mass. for May 2022. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps. I plan to have a ton more flea market videos this year, and you don't want to miss any of those, of course. So until next time, see ya.